Hey guys, I'm back. In today's video, we're going to be cleaning this bike up. I've done a lot already, which I'll get into in a second. I'm going to be doing the black fork wraps today, as well as this battery lid cover, which has been requested before. I've printed a piece for it, and I will even be selling them, and I'll be showing how to put that all on in today's video. First thing I did is I put this Tuttio piece back on. I had to zip tie it. It cleaned up all my wires. Before it looked like a mess. I'll put a picture of it on screen. Next thing I'm going to do is get rid of the blue EBMX and get a black cover for it. It did come black. I ended up putting this on a Suron blue, and now I want to change it black again. So the way I connected this piece on, the back plate, is just zip tying it through here, and I know this bolt's too long. I've needed to fix it for a while. I will be getting to that shortly, but I need to cut all these zip ties, but overall it looks so much better. And I might be putting these plate pieces back on the cover for the motor as well. But really, this orange theme has got to go. We are going to be starting with the fork wraps. Now, I'm going to carefully clip this off of the ODI plate. There's a perfect spot where it jumps off right onto the forks. And I got a couple wires zip tied up in there neatly. I also did put this tubing on because I've seen everybody on TikTok doing that. And I'm going to clean up these forks a little bit. I also have to get the fork guards off by the tire. First one off. Other side is off as well. Okay, I've cut a piece out of this roll, about this long, put it up over here, and it's just a little short. So I'm gonna cut one more that's a little bit longer now. This fits around it way better. I cut it on the back so you can keep the line straight. So this is my first one. Just so you know, I've never done this before and I have no idea what I'm doing. I do not want this to touch itself. That would be so bad. That was close. But I'm pushing this side down first, and then I'm going to overlap it. I mean, this looks pretty good. There's definitely going to be some air pockets in there, but I don't know if there's any way to fix that or not. I'm just going to leave it how it is. I just went ahead and cut the top piece just from the remaining section of this. And I leave that white line at the top so then I have something to start the peel from. And the scariest part about this is just making sure it doesn't stick to itself. This top one turned out way better, in my opinion. I think since there's less air bubbles and everything up here, that everything looks so much nicer. But even the bottom fork doesn't look bad. It's only because you're really up close. But this side turned out great. Now we're going to move on to the other side. This is what it looks like. Super cool difference. Here is the finished result. There's a little bit of wrinkling right here, but it does not matter since I will be putting the ODI plate back on. Everything else looks super good. I ended up doing this over 2 more times to get it just right. But now we're gonna put the ODI plate on, and I'm gonna show you a little trick that I do right here with a zip tie. It's kind of hard to see here since everything's black and it blends in. But what I do with the zip tie is go over like that, tighten it, to where it pinches right there so it won't let it come off. And then of course clip the zip tie. All the zip ties are now on loosely. I'm going to pull them tight and then clip them. There's a couple other zip ties I am going to cut on the bike as well, and then we're going to move on to the battery lid cover, which is going to be the most exciting part of this video, I think at least. And let me know what you guys think of the Tuttio SE they just released. And this is how it looks with the forks and ODI plate. So much cleaner. Moving on to the battery, I'm placing the chai in once again. Also, I will be doing a 60 volt versus 72 volt comparison video coming up soon. This fits in super nicely. And I have the stock wiring harness, not a QS8 connector. No breaker, so it will make a popping sound. And then tucking these wires in just to make it look a little bit better. And I don't know what to do with the key yet. That's going to be an upcoming video. I have ideas on it. All right, for the battery lid, this is one that I've had on my old Suron that has carbon fiber stickers. You can barely tell it's even carbon fiber, but this thing is way too cheesy to be putting on a nice Tuttio build because this thing is not a piece of junk. So I went ahead and ordered one on Amazon that looks way better. That's what it looks like. And the mounting system comes into place where you see these two holes right here. So the trick is to get a zip tie and go through the bottom and then through the top hole to make it look smooth to where the connection points are on the bottom like this. And then go ahead and stick a zip tie through this hole and feed it back up through here. Now it's a little difficult, you gotta bend the zip tie to get it, but what used to be here is the system that locks the original stock battery into place. But if you've already got your upgrade and you want the battery lid, then you'll be taking that off anyway. So you'll have two zip ties so far, and then this will be the third one that I connect into here. And then a fourth one on this side. So it's a lot of zip ties. I'm sure this side could be done a little bit better than using 4 zip ties. There's got to be a better way, but it works pretty well as of right now. And then once you get those on, it's easy to connect this. So you're making one big zip tie out of all 4. And then tightening it down, not too crazy though. This next part is something I've been designing for a little while now. This is not the complete design, but this is pretty much what it looks like. It's pretty weird looking, I know, and it's in white at the moment. I will be making it in black, of course, because white just stands out way too much. I will still have them in color white, but if you do want a black one, I will have that as well. What this does is connects right down in here, and it will hook up. There's a reason this slit, I'm gonna pull this back out, is right there because there's a piece up in here that it will connect to. And you'll know when you get it, it won't move too much. And that's when you're gonna get the battery lid up here. And then I have 2 bolts that this comes with. They look like this, and those will just screw in. And the next step is going to be to cut some of these zip ties down here. Not all the way too short, because that's how you get them to break, but just enough to where there's a little bit of stress off of them. And then it's time to put the seat on. So I still have mine folded over. I'll slide that down and then screw the bottom piece on. And that looks 10 times better than just having the battery with those power leads sticking right out the top of it. This may be a weird temporary idea, but it might not. Putting the key right in the middle here. You don't want to over tighten them either. I've been riding this a lot. It's not going to come off, but you don't want to tighten the zip tie over here too much or it will snap the zip ties, depending if you're off-roading or not. But that key works fine right there. And then turning it on. Now I'm going to back up and show everything we've done here. The studio looks so much better today. I'm going to show a couple different clips. Guys, I was testing this out and listen to how crazy this is. One thing I forgot to do is put these fork guards back on. I just did that and it looks so much better now. Next video is going to have a lot of cool stuff. Maybe that video will be the 60 volt versus the 72 volt. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching another video. Stay tuned for the next one. See you then.